I am beyond excited about what this program is doing when it's working. So for those of you who have had a play with ChatGPT, you'll understand what I mean by that. If you haven't yet, you may or may not find that out during this next hour. So we will be live until midday Queensland time. I'm going to do this live. So, there's nothing like sitting on the edge of your seats, hoping that technology works for you while you have a crack doing a webinar. So, no pressure. We're just going to see what happens. So that's the plan for the next hour. If you've got any questions, pop them into the chat. Hopefully I will answer most of them as we go. I also have my wonderful co-host Peter on the line with me. He'll be monitoring the chat for me. And if something kind of fits in with where it needs to go right at that moment, he'll interrupt and ask the question. Otherwise, we'll make sure that we've got some time at the end to answer anything that we need to, cover off. Text seems really large, or is that me? Don't know, Joe. Good question. Seems okay with me. If it knows what's good for it, it'll correct. Indeed, Eva, we'll stick you onto ChatGPT if it doesn't behave itself. So before we get started, I'd love to know, we've been talking about where everyone's zooming in from. Just a quick acknowledgement of country. Obviously, tomorrow is a little bit of a contentious day now, being Australia Day, but just want to pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I'm coming to you today from the land of the Yagara people. I am Bundjalung Nation by heart, which is northern New South Wales. But if you would like to pop in what your nation is or where you're coming to me from today, I would love to hear it. I'll always love to know where our nations are and what that looks like. All right, shall we? Without any further ado, we've got Garigal Nation, lovely. Perfect. Right, let us go straight to my desktop. I even have a backup of a keynote just in case. So what I'm going to do is pop in to the chat the link that you will use to log into ChatGPT if you have not done it before. Now, as we kick off, I have a poll for you, and I'm interested to know, first of all, just give me a thumbs up in reactions if you can see the screen and everything's happening, obviously, because we've got the chat going. All right, have you used ChatGPT is the question of the moment. Just give it another couple of seconds. 84% participated, 90% participated. Oh, it's exciting. 93. Can we make it to 100? Come on, there's only 3 people that haven't participated. Oh, people are dropping out now. Let's end the poll before more people drop out. All right, end the poll. Share the results. There you go. So 55, it's kind of half and half as to whether or not we have played with ChatGPT or not. So a little bit of background. This is what it looks like when you log in. So I'm hoping Peter has popped, there we go. The link to register or log in is now in the chat for you. And when you first log in, this is what you see. Kind of pretty boring screen. It kind of tells you what it can do. So here's some examples of some stuff that it can do. Here's what its capabilities are, and here's what its limitations are. Now, remembering this thing only launched in November, right? So it's not even a couple of months old yet. Within the first 6 days of it launching, it had over 1 million people using the platform. So it is being like hugely used now, and hopefully by the end of the session, you'll kind of see why I'm so excited about it. I've already started building this in with everything that I'm doing with my clients. This for me is a game changer, and I really think 2023 is going to be the year of AI, and probably ChatGPT is that nice introduction. Although remembering, a lot of us are already using AI. Every time you pick up your phone and you ask Google something, that's relying on AI. If you've used Crisp, the microphone thing for your Zoom, that's AI. If you've used Grammarly, that's AI. So don't feel like this is a bridge too far. This is just the next evolution, right? We've gone from Betamax to VHS. So we're really, we're really just kind of taking that next step. Now, I'm just going to refresh this screen before I do anything, because otherwise I'm going to get an exceptionally high demand. And that's one of the first things that you will always see. We're experiencing high demand. Always happens. It shouldn't stop you from getting what you need. Now, I have written a few prompts here, so you don't have to see me type in live and watch my horrid spelling as I'm trying to do things. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look at at how we can use this for content creation and ideation. So you can see here, I've just put in, give me 5 ideas for social media posts. The topic is understanding AI for business. And here we go. So it's also giving me hashtags. So hashtag AI for business, hashtag supply chain management. So did you know AI can help business optimize their supply chain operatives? AI is revolutionizing the customer service industry, allowing companies to offer more personalized and efficient service. Learn how your business can implement. AI can help business make better decisions by providing valuable insights and predictions. Find out how your company can use it. Now, let's say we like the look of number 3. I can go expand number 3 into a LinkedIn post. Enter. Now it's writing the LinkedIn post for me, okay? So are you aware of the power of AI in decision-making for business with the ability to provide blah, 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 and on and on and on it's going to go, okay? So this could now be my LinkedIn post. Now we're going to talk a little bit later on about some of the pitfalls and some of the things that we need to be mindful of, but right now, let's just all revel in the glory of the fact that we've got something to help us create our social media posts. So now I can look at that and go, geez, that's a bit dry. So I can go, my audience is small business and entrepreneurs. I am doing this live. So rewrite with a friendly and informative tone. And you can see now it's contextualizing based on what I said my audience is. So one of the first things to be aware of with ChatGPT when you're playing with it, and I encourage you all to jump on and have a play with it once you've finished the session, is that it essentially ChatGPT thinks it's a toaster, right? It doesn't really know what it is until you tell it what it is. So I can say to it, my audience is this. I need you to write it for those people. I could even say, I'm a fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Rewrite in that form. So you can give it the personality that you want it to have. So your skill of utilizing this platform is in refining the parameters that you give it, okay? If you just say to it, I want you to write me 5 social media posts, it'll do it. It'll be dry, it'll be boring, but it'll be done. But if you can start refining your parameters and telling it what it is that your audience is looking for, your target audience, etc., then it's going to start giving you information and responses that are a lot more in line with what your audience is looking for. So you can see there, I've said, I'm a fan of hitchhikers, rewrite it. So, okay, it's put in hitchhikers, so that's a bit, but hold on to your towels, right? If anyone is a hitchhikers fan, you're going to know that that's a reference that that comes up a lot. Don't forget your towel. Don't panic. Okay. So you can see it's kind of taken on, adopted the humor that I've asked it for. So now most of my audience, you guys would know if you've been following me for a while, I do a lot of, retro kind of pop culture in my stuff. So I could easily take that and manipulate that. I could come up with 42 give me 42 reasons why AI is going to revolutionize small business, 42 being the meaning of life for anyone who's a Hitchhiker's fan. So that's kind of your entry point, right? That's where you can start with utilizing this system. But now I could go, let's have a look back. We chose point 3. So now I could say, create this as a blog outline. Now, what it's doing, which is really unique to any of the platforms that I've seen before, is this has a memory, okay? I haven't had to say to it, we chose point 3 before, or out of this, or copy and paste or anything. I'm just saying to it, that post that you just created, now I want that as a blog outline. So here it is. It's given me the outline of what that blog would look like. So now I could say to it, expand on point 2. And it's going to expand on what I would need to put into that blog. Okay, so it's really now starting to be another human in my business. You know, I can, where I've had maybe a content creator or someone that I've been working with, I can now ideate and come up with ideas and refine my blogs, do all of that kind of thing just with the thing. And you can see, like, this thing's just going nuts now because I've just said, hey, expand on point B. I can just copy and paste this into a Word document and now start making it sound more like me. So the next thing that I can do, because if I write a blog, I want it to go on my website. If I want it to go on website, I want Google to find it. So what SEO terms, or what SEO keywords should I be using? So now it's making sure that I have the SEO terms that I would want to fit into the blog to make sure that it's being found for relevant search terms. And it's even saying it's important to note that the keywords you choose should accurately reflect the content of your blog and your target audience, blah, blah, blah. So again, remember, SEO terms, so search engine optimization. So if we're wanting Google to find a phrase, so if someone Googles, you know, what is AI for small business? I want to make sure that I have the term AI for small business in the blog so Google can pick that up. So you can see immediately that I'm getting my outline, I'm getting my SEO terms, I'm getting, you know, content ideas that I could be putting in. I'm getting tonality. I'm starting to get that real kind of holistic content focus. Now, just a question from Amanda in there to say, if someone else asks the same question, would they get the same answer back? What I've found, Amanda, is you will get similar phrasing or similar wording, but it will really depend on the parameters that you give it. So at the start here, I said this is for a small business audience, right? This is for entrepreneurs. But let's say someone pop in, I know we've got a lot of different people on the chat. So someone pop in the industry or the business that you work in and let's have a play. I'm going to start a new chat. So again, ChatGPT now thinks it's a toaster. I know we have the lovely Layla from a Chamber of Commerce. We've got motorcycle adventures. Okay, so let's go motorcycle adventures. So give me 5 ideas for a blog around motorcycle adventures through, Europe. Okay, so here's where I'm going to refine it a little more compared to my first outing. So I've gone, give me 5 ideas for a blog around motorcycle adventures through Europe. My audience is middle-aged folks wanting to take the trip of a lifetime without the hassle of organizing to get their bikes overseas or worrying about travel plans. Now, because I know Bridget and Alan, they've worked with me, I'm going to say we've been taking people on tours for the last 5 years. So the people are in safe hands. Now, I know they also have a good sense of humor, make it funny, and put it in the, let's say, make it in the style of Deadpool. Okay. So I've now given it a bit more, a few more parameters than I did the first time, where I just said, so this is where your critical thinking makes a big difference. Okay. Now I've said Deadpool, so it's going to, get a bit excited about putting Deadpool into everything. So Deadpool's Guide to European Motorcycle Adventures, how to ride like a superhero without breaking the bank. Deadpool's top picks for the most scenic motorcycle routes in Europe. Deadpool's Guide to Planning the Perfect European. So let's say we really like, number 2. So I can now say, write number 2 as a Facebook post, including hashtags. Okay, attention all motorcycle enthusiasts. Are you ready for the ride of a lifetime through the most scenic routes in Europe? Look no further. Deadpool's top picks for the most beautiful motorcycle routes will take you on an adventure you'll never forget. From winding roads through the Swiss Alps, on coastal rides along the Mediterranean, these routes will have you breathless. And then it's given me a bunch of hashtags. But now I'm going to say, add in the fact we organize the route, the hotels, transporting the bikes, everything is taken care of. Now, if I was to say that to my content creator as a human, this is nothing. Okay, I've just read that. I want you to add in this bit, but to think that we're doing this with a computer, right? So I was a copywriter and content writer for a long time, and I would be working with clients and they would come back to me and say, I don't like this, change that, add that. I could get that because I've got a brain, we've got a conversation going, so I could amend that. But to be able to just have that natural conversation with the AI, to me, this is where this is a game changer. So you can see I've just gone, add in the fact that we organize the routes, blah, 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 blah. So it's kept it the same. Attention all motorcycle enthusiasts. Are you ready for? Now it says, look no further. Our dream team has been organizing motorcycle tours for the last 5 years. Now, can you remember? I told them about the 5 years right up at the get-go. So it's remembered. Oh, that's right. You've been doing this for 5 years. We've got you covered. Route planning, booking hotels, transporting your bike. Everything is taken care of. Blah, 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 blah. Right? It's even given me the hashtags, everything that I should be thinking about. So this is where the power comes in, when you can keep refining, looking at it, changing it, refining it. I don't want it to sound like Deadpool. I want it to sound like Yellowstone. I want it to do this. I need to have that. So now I could say to it, follow up with an email about an upcoming webinar to sell people on the idea of taking a European holiday with us. So now I'm going to go, okay, well, I've got a social media post, but if I actually want people to start coming on these adventures, I probably need to run a webinar to tell them all the ins and outs, because it's a big kind of deal to trust somebody to take your bike over and organize all of that stuff. So write me an email to say that we're going to do a webinar. That's what it's doing. It's going to keep the same kind of tone, same kind of format, same kind of everything, but it's going to keep all of that history that we've had going and all of that information that has got up here. It's now going to put that into an email. Okay, so now I can just manipulate this to make it sound more like me, and on I go. So now I could say, turn that into a webinar landing page, turn that into a follow-up email, turn that into, outline an ebook around motor, or just outline an ebook. And now here's everything that I could have this as part of my lead magnet to say, come to the webinar, you'll get the ebook, blah, blah, blah. And now, you know, sign up. So now you've got all of these steps down the pathway to purchase for anyone who's looking at going on something like that with you. Is this helpful? Is this kind of, you know, give me some like, this is blowing my mind, or, and this is all free at the moment, guys. So everything in here is free right now. I fully suspect this will change very, very shortly. I've been reading about, you know, roughly it looks like it's going to come in about $42 a month is what it's going to look like. Okay, excellent. Mind blown. Absolutely awesome. Fantastic. I know, blowing my mind, right? Can we teach it how to fill in forms for us? So what you can do, Ruth, one of the things that you can do is, here we go, write me some code to connect ChatGPT with my website as a chat bot. Okay, there we go. You can write code, but here we go. Here's some of the code, but there are now AI connections that you can get, and I'm happy to share. I'll be doing a series of these webinars about all of the AI that's coming out. There are plugins now that will connect ChatGPT to your website to act as a chatbot, but you can see it'll write the code for you. The code is an example that uses a library to install it, blah, 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 blah. So you can then give that to your web guy and say, can you install that on my site? We did one the other day for our membership platform for our digital club members, where we literally just did write the code for our website to provide a search function on text. So we wanted our members to be able to search for, because there's a lot of content that our guys get every month in the digital club. We wanted them to be able to search on a blog or search on a template or search on a something. So, you know, we just jumped in because we do the website in-house. We just jumped in and said, you know, write some code that will connect this and this, and that people can then have a search bar and search for things. So it's not just content creation, right? It's, you know, even the other day, here we go. Pete, my hubby, is a big Negroni fan. What's the best Negroni recipe? Okay, good time, because we're almost halfway through to talk about some of the pitfalls. Here's some of the things that you're going to get a lot of on the system. Is it will say to you, you know, hey, we're at capacity, we've timed out, we've done something, and there's no regeneration at the bottom. So you can try just reticking it. Best Negroni recipe. It will also potentially, oops, spelled it wrong. There you go, it doesn't matter. It will also potentially say to you, hey, you've had too many requests in an hour. I get that quite a lot because I'm still pushing the boundaries of what it can and can't do. So here you go, the best Negroni recipe, and then it goes through. So it doesn't have to just be content. It could be, you know, I've got a birthday coming up for a 13-year-old. Give me some ideas. You know, it will help you ideate is part of what I want to say. Let me just check the chat and see what we've got going on in here. So Nan's saying she can't find the words, blowing my mind, working alongside you. I keep wanting to say thank you to it. Leanne, Pete, my hubby, he talks to it like a human, the same way that he speaks to Siri. So he will say please and thank you, and it acknowledges him. So Sonia's saying, will it end up like Jasper? Jasper actually uses ChatGPT as its native language processor. So it's already utilizing that functionality. So Jasper is one of the AI platforms for content creation. I've found Jasper is a bit hit and miss. I actually find that this direct ChatGPT is getting better than Jasper, to be honest. So it's already using ChatGPT. The next iteration is going to be ChatGPT 4. It will be coming out sometime this year, but they haven't told us when. So Kim's saying, love it. How does Google feel about this? I read one review that Google does not like it. So Google is looking for the best answer. So it's up to you to get the content that it's created. It's up to you to get the content that's created and then turn that into something that sounds like you, that's going to provide the best answer for your client. They don't care. Google doesn't care per se. They're just looking for the best response. So what you're going to see happen as this evolves and more of us start using ChatGPT and other platforms that come along that use similar kind of brains to it, is that the people who just grab the content and dump it on the website without any modification or anything, their rankings will drop because it won't have any personality, it won't have the stories, it won't have the, you know, the real kind of power behind it. And potentially you're going to get content sounding very similar. There are platforms now that will tell you whether it is AI written or not. So I can tell very quickly, looking at a blog post or a social media post, works better with longer form content, whether something is AI generated or not. But to get around that, all I do is throw it through Grammarly or Quillbot, and I'll show you that in a second. So if you pay a subscription, does that give you more access to use and the issues of ownership of content if available for free? Okay, so you can't just pay for a subscription right now. You've got to be invited. So the more you get in and the more you start using it, you know, what I'm reading is that bumps your chances of being offered a subscription. They're being a bit cagey kind of with what it offers, but reading between the lines and reading a lot of blogs and watching a lot of stuff about it, what we kind of know is that the people that are paying for a subscription are on a different server, so they're not getting the timeout issues that the free version is. They will be provided with beta testing and things for other products as it comes out, and no limit on the usage, which right now I keep bumping up into the, oh, you've asked too many things in an hour, go away. Okay, so I'm sorry I couldn't get here from the very start. How do I get started to play, please? Jan will pop the link to log into the chat again for you. So just keep an eye on the chat. And also I'll pop it in the recording when it comes out. So Carolyn is asking, do you know what the legalities around this, e.g. attribution? Seems like the more you refine it, the more unique it is to your own IP. That's exactly right, Carolyn. I mean, my big thing with ChatGPT, what I'm saying to my clients right now, and Sonia, this will answer your question as well around copyright and IP. If you have something that is really, really like intensely yours, don't use ChatGPT for it, but also don't use Google, don't use Facebook, don't use LinkedIn, don't, you know, anything that you are not willing to put onto Google or Facebook or LinkedIn or anything, don't put into ChatGPT. But once you have generated that content, then it's yours, you know. But my advice, the way to make it start sounding more and more like you is I have two other programs that I use. Both of these are paid programs. So I would grab, let's just find, let's go to the European motorcycle one. So I would grab, say this email, and I'll go into Quillbot. So it's QILLBOT. Now this is a paid platform because I work with this quite a bit. And I'm not signed in. Okay, let me throw it through Grammarly. That's going to be, I'm not signed into there either because we had to rebuild our computers last night. So that was a lot of fun. Let me just sign in quickly. So let me read what's going on in chat at the same time. So Nan just said, oh my God, I just got it to write a blog on older women in business and then rewrite it in the tone of a 1970s hippie. And wow, I love that. I love that. One of the funny ones I saw the other night was write me a poem about AI in small business, style of Dr. Seuss. So, it's kind of limited by your imagination and by your willingness to play. So you can see there, I just said, write me a poem about AI and small business. I want the style of Dr. Seuss. I think I'm actually going to use that because that's kind of cool. Anyway, so here we go. I would open up Grammarly, the Bitcoin in the style of Donald Trump. I know that was hilarious, wasn't it, Leanne? I had to put that on my socials. So now what I would do is that email that I'd written, I'd grab it, I'd dump it in the Grammarly, and then I just go through and make it sound like me. So first of all, you'll notice it writes in American English. So it's going to say to me, do you want to rewrite it? So I let Grammarly have its way with it for a bit. And then I will reread through everything and just tweak it to make sure it actually does sound like me. So you can see there's still quite a bit of changes that you can make to make it read in a more natural way. And then after that, this is where you put your spin on it. Okay. So I've heard a lot of people saying to me and been reading in the media that, oh my God, this is going to take people's jobs. This is going to do. It's not going to take people's jobs because there's going to be a few different levels of the way that people interact with ChatGPT and with AI. The first level is going to be they just think they can get it to write their social content. They're going to copy, they're going to paste it into Facebook, and they're not going to do anything with it. That's the bare minimum. That's the lazy way. And those people are going to start being really penalized by Google and by search engines because the content is not going to be helpful. So that's the first way. The second way, either way, the AI is not taking your job. Okay. The way that I see this revolutionizing business is it's the people that can learn to refine questions to get even more critical thinking into the process. They're the ones that are going to take the jobs because they're going to use platforms like this to double check everything, to just add it, use it as ideation, and then move it on from there. So my take on AI, it's not going to take anyone's jobs. The people who know how to use AI, manipulate it, and play with it properly, they're the ones that are going to be able to build businesses off it. So I just saw there was a question, something about, will it repurpose your work? Where was that? I thought I saw something about repurposing work, but now I've lost it. This would be a good question. No, if someone wants to write, I thought I saw something about repurposing work. So if you want to put that back in. Is there a chance that GPT will repurpose your work and make it available to others who can claim it as their own? Sure, but there was 1 million people using the platform within 6 days. So I would say your thoughts, your ideas, everything you put into this is going into the collective. So I'm a bit of a Trekkie, right? So I tend to think of this as like the Borg. It's going around assimilating everybody's information. Resistance is futile. And yes, it may spit out one of your ideas if somebody else asks for the exact same ideation with the same tonality, the same everything. But again, if you're concerned about that, I wouldn't be putting anything into Google. I wouldn't be putting anything into Facebook, etc. But yes, probably something to be mindful of. How do you fact check, says Tammy? Good question. So ChatGPT doesn't really know anything post 2021. This is still a research platform. So if you are using anything that, spits out stats or anything like that, you should always sanity check it. You are still the expert in your field. Okay. So if you are, we have a son-in-law who's an ED nurse, and he was saying that some of the medical advice on this is fantastic, but he was still kind of sanity checking everything to go, yes, that's right. No, that's not quite right, etc. So please do fact check, because again, you are the expert in your industry and it doesn't know anything post 2021. So it can't answer a question about, Jacinda Ardern resigning. So it couldn't write a blog for you, or couldn't write an outline of a blog around Jacinda Ardern's resignation, because it wouldn't have that information in its bank to pull from. There are plugins that you can get that will sit at the bottom of the screen, which you can click on, that will then add in Google search to the terminology. I don't use Chrome, so I don't have that connected, but I've heard very good things about that. If you just Google Google Chrome extension for ChatGPT, you'll find that there are those available. It's so Leanne saying it's yet to master the Australian sense of humor and styles of iconic Australian such as Cat Day Night, but it tried. Yes, I asked it to write something in using Aussie humor, and it sounded more like a Steve Irwin kind of bit. So it is very over the top with that. I've yet and Andrea just said I've yet to master that too, Leanne, and I've been here for 25 years. Awesome. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other stuff that it can do. In terms of, I like it for ideation as well. So let's say we don't want it to write some content, but I had a really lovely lady on a webinar yesterday who's designing stationery. So she's creating it, she's designing it, she's doing everything. And it was really beautiful what she was creating. But she was struggling with like, who's my target market? Who could I be selling to? So you can ask it to help you define your target market as well. So I'm selling designer stationery, give me some target market ideas. So young professionals who value organization, creative entrepreneurs who want to make a strong impression, college students. So now I could say, create an avatar around number 2. And here we go. So it's going to help me ideate around who's my target market, who should I be thinking about when I'm, creating content, etc. Does it work in different languages? Namala, apparently, I am the only, I struggle to speak English sometimes. I speak Australian and English and slang. But apparently I've had some friends who have tried it in Korean and German, and one other, I can't remember what the other language was, maybe Italian or French, I think it was. And they said it was pretty bang on. So again, I would be sanity checking it, but for the sake of, yes. So, it's now come up with an avatar. So now I could say, what social platforms should I target? And Amanda's saying, gosh, it's crazy. You still need to have a level of creativity about you to ask these things. I would never think of an avatar. And that's exactly my point, Amanda. Like, this thing literally thinks it's a toaster until you tell it otherwise, right? So it's up to you to be thinking about, well, how else could I use that? Could it do this? I've got to write a best man speech, could it help me out with that? Here's the things I know about my mate, put them in, get it to write you a best man speech. Say, I want 3 jokes and, a swear word, and it would come up with something for you. But again, the more that you can give it, the better the output is going to be. So you can see here, it's telling me what platforms that I could target, and why it would be a good use of my time to target those with Sarah. So think about ideation, think about, how else that you can be using the platform. One of the other things it can do is, let's say I am not a fan of Excel. So if you had a formula that you needed created in Excel, I'm just going to delete that. Why is it going back? You can get it to create the tables and the formulas and things for you. So let's say you had, I don't know, I need column A plus B to divide by C and give me what E should be or something. It'll write that formula for you. I just don't think in Excel terms, but I have seen some amazing formulas spat out for Excel that makes things really easy. There's also another plugin called Sheet God. If you are an Excel geek, you're going to love Sheet God because you just write the natural language in for, I need this to do this plus that minus that equals that, and it does it all for you. So really, really cool. All right. We've got about 19 minutes to go. Let's start. What questions have you got? What do you want to know how can I help you navigate ChatGPT better? Shoot, start flicking your questions through. I'm just going to make sure that I've got this switched on the right way. There we go. While we are starting to get some questions through, let's look at, here we go. So I'm just going to say I've got a 13-year-old birthday coming up. What's 7 parties ideas? And away it goes. So now I could kind of go, so if I found my idea, I go, hey, movie generating, movie night. So I can hit stop and I can say what movies are appropriate for a 13-year-old. Here's a few suggestions, but obviously it's, it's kind of going, you might want to actually chat to your kid about that. So, but it's at least giving you some ideas of where to start with. I'm not sure that a 13-year-old boy would want to watch Up, but anyway. And there we go. And on and on and on it's going to go, always a good idea. Check the rating and review, let your kid watch it. Okay, so let's go back. Here we go. They're starting the file through. Do you have tips on how to phrase your questions to get the best outcome? Bridget, naturally. So the way you would ask me the question would be the way that I would ask it. So literally as you are, and that's why I kind of talk them through as I'm writing them, because I just think that I'm sitting in front of Bridget and I've got a question to ask her. That's the exact way that I would ask it. It is built around natural language. Sorry, my internet keeps dropping out. No worries, Debbie. Could you share screen and play around? I'm still trying to work out how to use it. Yep, so my screen is shared. So you should be able to see that and where my stored posts are. Does it keep your initial question in the left-hand column forever? I don't know about forever, but, you can see I've got a fair whack in here. There was one I asked it when I was first starting to play around. It will show you that I am a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan. I went back and said, why is the meaning of life 42? And it went into this big, long rationale as to why that was that. So they hang around for a while. I do delete some out every now and again, but that's your call. Can ChatGPT help design a bit? Absolutely. Okay. I have an idea for a business around candle making. What do I need to put? Well, hang on. Let's say design a business plan outline. So just saying, got an idea for a business candle making or for candle making. Give me an outline for a business plan. So it's going to go ahead and do that. So much to think about. How do you best manage the content? I can see this getting away from me and becoming hard to refine things generated. So Leonie, I name the file, whatever it is. So if I'm doing starting a business webinar, I'll call the file starting a business so I can go back and find it, top 10 tech tips, grant workshops, etc. So I just give it a title like I would in a filing system and then go back and look. But typically, remember, I'm not just working in here. I'm dumping it into Grammarly and into Quillbot as well. So I've got it stored in a few other places. There's a limit. So Joseph, there is a limit to ChatGPT writing content, need to break it up in small chunks, but it was useful, like the idea of using tonality. Yep. So Joe, it won't, but what you can do, so interestingly, Joe's just saying there's a limit to what it will write. Yes, there is. But what you can do is, let's say you want a 1,000-word blog. I think it might go up to about 500 words. You can just say, the next line you can say is continue, and it will keep writing it for you. So if you wanted Iliad by Homer, you could say continue and it would keep going. That's something else you can do. Summarize the book, Hunger Games. and it will, it will tell you what the book was about. So yes, you can do things like that. Can you teach it to put the script into a specific format, e.g. board meeting papers are in the order of a strategic plan? I love your thinking, Jenny. Yes, you can. Let me show you that one. So I'll stop generating. So if you had the meeting minutes or just a block of text, you can put that in. So let me just grab an old file. Let me just, for the purposes, I will just grab, and I can say rewrite as a strategic plan. Now, this mightn't make a lot of sense because it's a webinar brief, but you can see I just dumped the body of text that I had in, and I've said to it, I want it rewritten as a strategic plan, or rewrite this as board minute meetings, or, whatever. Jane, re-Excel, guessing it could do costing inventory sheets for products. Absolutely. You've just got to keep, refining. Thank you, Peter. Recording will be out next Monday. I can only see you and the screen is really small. Not quite sure. Shirley, you could try clicking on my image or something, but I think everyone else is seeing it okay. So maybe you might need to watch the recording. Not quite sure about that one. Sorry. Carolyn, any ideas on how long till they move to subscription model only? None. They're being very, very quiet about it. Microsoft have just announced they're dumping another $10 billion into this. So you guarantee that they will commercialize it shortly. I got a notification to say, are you interested in the subscription? And they kind of put in, how much would you be willing to pay? So I think they're kind of gauging people's interests. And the word on the street is the subscription's going to be around that $42. Speaking of which, let's have a look. I've got another poll on the paid that I am interested to know. Peter, if you can you maybe launch, oh, hang on, I can do the stop sharing, launch paid. Okay, we should have another one on because I'm interested to know, would you guys pay for it? Sorry, I've worked it out and can see now. Okay, awesome. Kate, love the style with how you've made things so simple to understand. Does your company offer other services related to AI or blog to hear more? Absolutely, Kate. Peter, could you drop an email in and I'll give you the slide to connect with the website and everything. This is what I do, Kate. This is my life. I go down the rabbit hole so you don't have to. Amanda's saying, can you please explain how Grammarly works? Yep, can do. Joe, that was refreshing to see the text was from a recorded meeting, 20 pages, couldn't do it all, but chunked it and asked it to provide me. Yeah, perfect. So Joe was just saying that that was what I was referring to. It was text from a recorded meeting, 20 pages, couldn't do it all, but chunked it down and asked me to provide bullet points. So that's perfect. I think Jennifer's probably ready to create all of her board meetings and things in this thing now. I tried to use it to turn a podcast interview transcription into show notes, but the transcription was too long. Any workarounds? Carolyn, I dump it into Grammarly and just shorten it and then dump it into there, or give it the guts of what your podcast was about. I don't think Pete's chat messages are reaching everyone, so I'm not even sure if Pete's around. But there we go. Admin at the Digital Guide. Okay, so paid, what's everyone saying? So end poll, share results. So we're saying, can see 13% saying it's invaluable, 45% are saying they'd pay for it if it was under $50, and 39% are like, I don't know, I'd have to have a bit of a play with it. The podcast one, let me stop sharing. The podcast one was a good question. So let's say now I'm going to start a new chat again. So I have a podcast on small business AI tech. give me a podcast outline. This will do me out of a job because, you know, I train people. Part of what I do is train people how to create a podcast that builds community. And we talk a lot about, you know, drafting your outline for your podcast. Here we go. You know, this is really just going to help. So now you could just pop in every week and go, my podcast is about this week. Give me the run sheet, give me the outline, you know, and it's going to do it for you. So off we go, conclusion, etc. All right, so now I can say it's just a general outline. Of course, because I've not given it anything. All I'm doing is a podcast on small business AI tech, right? I've not given it anything more. So now I could say, write the show notes, or I don't even just write the show notes. You don't even have to give it more than that. And here we go. It's giving you the show notes. So, right, there's just, the point is with this thing, get in and have a play, because really what it will do is limited by what you put in and what you're thinking about. So Nan's just saying, that's interesting. Thank you for doing that, Nan. That's really cool. So Nan's just saying she just put in the same question exactly and it came up with a different list. It can develop a glossary, ask what the main terms used in a specific industry, and then ask for the definition. So there's, you know, so much that it will do. I was at the hairdresser on my beautiful hairdresser on Saturday, and we were talking about, you know, utilizing it for her salon. I'm going to hit stop generation because you can see this thing's just going to keep going. And they specialize in curly hair. So then we kind of went down the rabbit hole of I'm a hairdresser specializing in curly hair. Give me 3 ideas for content. And, you know, it kind of goes, here's 3 ideas, create some videos, do, you know, whatever. So, and we can keep refining from there. So again, it's just about what you feed into it is going to make the content coming out the back end. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? You know, the content that you get back, that's going to be much clearer if you can be clearer with it up front. So Nan's saying, I'm awestruck. I popped in an old media release I wrote about a regional tourism centre and asked it to rewrite, scooped up information from the web, which was accurate, but not in my original document. That's fantastic. Just asked it to write a script for a video, and just wrote what to say, but also what shots should be taken, right? Fantastic. So write a media release for the curly hairdresser. Now, again, I've not put any details into it, so it's just giving me the guts of the media release. So if you wanted to share something on your, maybe you've got a new product coming out, you know, whatever. So I could say, I'm launching my small business digital club. It's aimed at business owners wanting to learn and leverage tech in their business in a friendly community, monthly masterclasses, ask anything, and a stack of other content in a portal. Write me a media release. So now I've actually given it a little bit more info. So now it can write the media release based on, you know, what I've given it. I'm creating a small business digital club. It's aimed at business owners wanting to learn and leverage tech in their business. It's a friendly community. We've got monthly masterclasses, ask anything, stack of other information. And now it's writing the media release. Joe, you've nailed it. So Joe just said it saves so much time. And this is what I'm excited about, right? It is not going to stop the fact that you need to generate social media, write blogs, add pages to your website, do any of that kind of stuff. But boy, there's no excuse for sitting in front of a blank screen now with a cursor, you know, flashing at you, taunting you. You know, if you don't know where to start, you can at least go, give me 5 ideas for a blog about this. And then you can start, you know, and then you can say, turn that into a web page for me. Now I want it in an email, turn it into 5 social media posts. Like there's so much, it just goes on and on and on and on. I was chatting to my niece the other day who's just had a baby, and she was, you know, baby brain. And she was like, I think I have like 6 eggs, some bacon and something else in the house. I don't want to make an omelette. I don't know what to do. So, I, you know, as a joke, while I was chatting to her, I jumped into ChatGPT and said, got 6 eggs, this, and this. Give me some recipes. And it came up with 5 ideas for her. And she was like, oh my God. So I'm in the middle of writing a children's story for our grandchildren that we're going to give to them for Christmas. So I'm getting it to ideate the ideas for me and help me structure it in a way that our grandbabies, who are only, they'll be, you know, one will be 3 at Christmas time, in a way that they will understand, because I'm good at writing, you know, business books. Never written a kid's book before, so I'm getting it to help me ideate the ideas and the best ways to do that. We've got 2 minutes to go. Let me stop sharing. Let me just check. Any last minute questions, guys? I think that the big thing with this for me is get in and have a play. Oh, someone asked about Grammarly, so we'll jump in and do that. Got to run. Just wanted to say thank you. Seriously illuminating, practical, game-changing, game changer. I love the game changer. It's all game changer. All right, let me just jump into Grammarly and show you what that is. So Grammarly starts free. Okay, so you can sign up for it for free. And basically what it does is it just helps you. I'm part of ADHD, as I'm not good with grammar. So it will help you with your grammar. So you say to it, you know, that you want to write in UK, that you're writing for a business audience, but it's friendly, you want it to be engaging, etc. And when you write the content, it will then tell you, you know, like, hey, that should be, you will be provided with A. So it will change things to help you, and it will, you know, restructure sentences for clarity and things like this. So it's a really great tool. Does start free. I pay for a version, but you can certainly give it a go for free and go up from there. Quillbot is the other one, QILLBOT, that I use, again, freemium model. So someone's saying can't see that they'll be getting to sleep anytime soon. Well, the good news is it will at some point say to you, you've asked too many things in an hour, go away. Love the info, love the energy, love it all. Thank you, Kaz. Play with it. It's given me a new excitement to do more. Thanks, Tracy. Very helpful. Love the toaster analogy. Well, it is. It is just a toaster, like, until you sell it. And don't forget, you know, just keep playing. Say to it, I want you to think like you're the expert curly hairdresser. I want you to be the expert in a chamber of commerce, or I want you to be an expert as a small business owner, and write the page for me like that. So much awesome stuff. We'll start playing the Savo. Thank you, guys. We are at time. I love that you've spent the hour with me. I hope that you're as pumped about this platform as I am. I'm so excited for you to see what it's going to do. Last question for you. Are you ready to give it a go? Who's ready to play with ChatGPT? I've already logged in. Let's see if we can get 100% of the responses before we disappear. 74%, 77, 79. Give it a few more seconds. 85%. We'll give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End poll. Here's the results. I love it. 63% of you have already signed in. And I really want to know who the one person is that said, no, it's the devil's work. Because, you know, when somebody thinks of the children, there's always a few people that get nervous about new tech as it comes out. All right, folks, that's it. That's me. Final thing I will share with you is how you can connect with me. Remember, I am the entrepreneur facilitator for the Ipswich region. So if you have business around Ipswich, Lockyer Valley, Somerset Scenic, you can access me from that program. If not, if you've come to me outside of that program, then here's how you stay in contact with me. Please connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me on Facebook. We're about to launch our events page on my website because we've got a ton of these workshops coming up. There's my details through the Entrepreneurship Facilitators if you'd like to connect via that way. Bunch of workshops coming up, so make sure that you stay connected. Thanks so much for spending the hour with me. Have a great afternoon. Drop me a message. Let me know how you're using it. Get AI to write the. Let's get ChatGPT to write the final sign off. Shall we, just to wind it up? Write the sign off to our webinar about ChatGPT for small business and entrepreneurs. Make the tone friendly and include a Back to the Future reference. All right, in the words of ChatGPT, thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar on how small business and entrepreneurs can leverage ChatGPT to improve their operations and drive growth. We hope you found the information and examples shared during the webinar useful and that you're now inspired to start exploring the ways in which ChatGPT can benefit your business. We know that there's a lot to take in and it can be overwhelming to think about how to integrate AI into your business. But remember that, as Doc Brown from Back to the Future would say, your future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one. You got this. If you got any questions, you need some guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're always here to help. Again, thank you for joining us and I hope to see you at the next webinar. Best of luck on your journey to the future. That's it. I'm out. I'll see you on the next webinar. See you guys.